Hi friends, Josie's Friend is Sewing Channel.
And Mimi too. Today's video, it's all about the hand sewing tips. And I think there's over 30, Josie. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Why do you believe that?
Because I love you.
Josephine, does your Mimi make you quilts?
Yeah.
She does. What kind of quilts does she make you?
The blue one.
The blue one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Tell everybody, what is your favorite quilt that Mimi has ever made you? Do you have a favorite?
The Halloween one.
The Halloween one? You mean the one with Hey Boo in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I sleep with it and I like it because it's so cozy in the inside.
Oh, God, love it.
Enough talking already.
Let's go. Now the tip here is to use up all of those saved batting strips that you've cut off from all of your quilts when you squared them up. The tip for these laser cut rulers is to put stickers on the top part of the acrylic ruler. There is a slippery side and a side that will help adhere down to whatever you're trying to cut. Those stickers just allow your eyes to rest and not have to think, is this the right side up or wrong side up? So definitely helps, friends. I almost forgot, before you take any cuts on that batting, make sure you spread it out really good with your hand. If you don't spread it out, then it will give you too much on the ends when you try to fold that outer fabric up and over for the binding on each little rectangle. Quilting does not have to be expensive. I chose to thrift 100% linen clothes from the Goodwill so that I could cut them up for all the backings of this quilt and made it so scrappy. Now, you don't have to thrift linen shirts. You could do cotton shirts. I know a lot of men's shirts are luxurious at the Goodwill. I mean, there's a ton of them too, so you could just go on 50 off day and really stock up. For variety on these striped shirts, turn the stripes so that way it just gives you a different orientation and a different vibe. Friends, I truly had so much fun thrifting and treasure hunting for linen. So much fun. Now, I did go with Tilda's line, I think it was Sunday Brunch, and I used up and cut up all of her fat quarters for this one that came in the line, even the filler fabrics, but you could use whatever you had on hand, any scrap or whatever. But these are truly some of the last pieces that I cut for my rectangle brick quilt. You can definitely see on the elephant fabric that I was running out of places to fussy cut for sure. Once you have the batting and the focus fabrics all cut out, my tip here is to make piles of all of the batting and the focus fabrics and put glue on them and stick them together. Now, I did put the glue on the fabric first, and I also used the template, the acrylic template ruler, and set it inside there so I didn't get it lopsided. Next, it was time to take the outer fabric, which is also considered the binding, I guess. And then I would take and lay that outer acrylic ruler down, put some glue, and then I would just grab that pile of batting and focus fabric and just set them right inside. I did try not using the template and just laying it in the center, and I would get it wrong almost every time. So definitely use that template to help you center everything. To me, these needle nose tweezers were indispensable. That is a major tip for me. Although I did get glue on my nail and my fingers still because it is kind of, gluey mess whenever you use glue. But the tweezers really did help. I mean, that initial fold over once you put the glue down, it just helped me get that fabric up and over. No matter which side you decide to fold up first, second, third, and fourth, that first fold needs to be about 1/8 of an inch or less, a little bit less, away from the batting. So the edge of that fabric, the fold of it, about 1/8 of an inch away. That will ensure that when we make that second fold up, that it does indeed wrap around the batting and the focus fabric. Now you do want continuity in this rectangle. So what I did next was after you made that first fold, now the second fold, I'm going to fold the long sides in first and baste it down. And then I'm going to bring in the side pieces. And on all of my rectangles, those are exactly the same on every single one in this quilt. If you don't do that, then you may find yourself you know, a little wonky throughout if you have short sides first and then long sides, because we need to connect these all together in the end. The next tip is to measure that piece. Make sure that all of your rectangles basted are the same exact width and length. No worries though if it's a little bit off, because we will be easing these in as we sew them all together. The confession, friends, I started out with cotton thread and I switched to polyester. Yep, I sure did. I was running out of steam, friends, I ain't gonna lie. I switched because polyester runs through the fabric so much silkier and smoother than cotton thread. Yep. Check out the video I have on my channel in this playlist where I show you how to make a hand sewing board. This one is a new one, however, and I just wanted to show you how I tacked the thread spool on some elastic into the board itself, so that way it keeps it like a little dowel and able to pull the thread off nice and smoothly. Okay, so I used an applique stitch, but you can use any kind of stitch you want to stitch the layers together from the binding side of it anyways. I mean, we are going to quilt with some embroidery floss through these pieces, but for right now we're just using, well, right now I'm using polyester thread. But you want to start somewhere in the center and go toward the binding and pop the knot through. Hopefully you saw that here when I started sewing. And then you just go around, and then when you get to the corner, you grab all of the layers right there on the inside corner, and then I pop the needle up through to the outer corner, and then I sewed the binding areas together just with a little whip stitch. And then when I got to the bottom, I then continued the applique stitch. It's honestly, I'm not happy with this work I did here at the end. I was over this quilt, friends. I'm not gonna lie to you at all. I mean, I was done. And so I was just trying to get through this. Anything to get through this quilt, I was gonna do it. I was just really trying to mow through it. So my work really isn't that great. But here you can see I'm ending it with a knot. I just made a little bite in the fabric area there and just double knotted it and then cut the threads, and that's that. Now it's ready to, you know, put some embroidery stitches on it. Used pearlate cotton in this embroidery thread in cream. Now the tip here I can give you is a self-threading needle. Yep, a self-threading needle. Friends, this was a game changer for me. It was so much easier when it was time to grab a new piece of embroidery floss to just pop it right on the end of that needle. I mean, really, friends, it was really easy. You just want to make sure though, however, that you have the right size thread with the right size self-threading needle. They do come really tiny for like polyester threads, or they come a bit more open for floss like this. Mine was a little bit thicker than, you know, regular thread, of course. And so you do want to make sure that you know, pair them up properly. I did all sorts of embroidery designs within these little rectangles. This one is just my go-to when I couldn't think of anything else to do. It's just a running stitch along the inside border of where the binding is. Now you could end this embroidery stitch on the front or the back. On this one, I'm going to end it on the back portion of it. And what I did was make a loop with the thread and push the knot way down toward the fabric. And then I pushed the needle through there on the back, only through the back portion though, not all the way through the layers. And then just popped the knot up through, hid the thread, and then cut where the thread initially came out with. And that's how you end it. Now friends, all of my tips are important, but this one is crucial. Make sure after you're done embroidering each individual rectangle that you fold it in half and mark the middle on both the top and bottom of that rectangle. I used a heat erasable pen because it will go away once the heat hits it. This is crucial because we need to line these up exactly. If you just started sewing and didn't have a mark to aim toward, you're going to be wonky and you're going to have one side that's longer than the other. We're going to have to do some easing, and that's okay with this because not everything is going to come out perfectly. What I did was line up the center of one to the end of another, just like you just saw me do that a second ago. You take a couple stitches and then you're going to knot it at every single intersection with that, loopity-loop knot that you do. And then you're going to just simply take tiny bites across the back. You don't want to take too big of bites because then you'll see them a lot on the front. But, just enough of a bite. And then you're going to go all the way down. Now I want you to notice here at this intersection, I have to ease some of that in. See how that kind of puffs up a little bit? That's called easing. You want to double check that, like after you take a few bites, to get where the next intersection is, where the end of the rectangle corner meets one of the lines on the other block. You want to make sure that that lines up perfectly. So easing is a must, friends. The tip here, when you're done attaching each piece, you're going to, at the seam, fold it back the opposite way. Because of the way we sewed it right sides together and took those bites on the back, it's going to naturally want to stay closed up like a clam. So we want to push it in its natural form, how it's going to be naturally in the end. So here I had quite a bit more easing to ease in. I don't know if I just got sloppy toward the end and just made them bigger or what, but yeah, so it is what it is, friends. But when I ease this in the end and you see the overall result of this quilt, you are not going to notice, trust me. And again, I'm going to make 2 loops and knot this, and then I'm going to push my needle through to the back somewhere on one of these, far away, pull that thread through, and then just snip it off. Now don't forget to fold it back, because remember, we want it in this direction, going this direction, so that's why we manually have to strong arm it in the fold. I know you all are so excited to get to these bonus tips, but first I have to tell you that there are a few tickets left for the 3 Quilt Amigas Quilt Retreat. I so want to meet you, and I know that my friend Di and April do too. The Quilt Retreat is at the end of April in the heart of Quilt America. Yep, Hamilton, Missouri. So head over to 3quiltamigas.com to reserve your ticket now. No worries, friends. I'm going to share with you in a minute how many rectangles I have left to make for this quilt to be over and done with this project. But first, my bonus tip. Bonus tip. Go down below in the description box where it says more ... Click it so that you can find and print your own free PDF download of this quilt project. It just shows you everything you're going to need to make what I made. Any toxic-free, acid-free glue stick will work. You do not have to buy those bougie glue sticks for sewing. They cost way too much money for what they are, friends. The bougie glue sticks are skinnier, and I do prefer them. But honestly, I think that there's going to be a company like Elmer's that comes out with a skinny glue stick, because we need skinny, friends, not all the big fat ones. Sometimes I can only find the fat ones. For this bonus tip, generic works just as well as Elmer's. Friends, you don't have to buy the templates, although there is a link down below if you don't want to make your own. Here I'm going to pop up a picture of the dimensions of these templates so that you can make your own. I totally would suggest using some sort of template though, whether you buy it or you make it. One of my bonus tips is to wear the leather pads. They're little circular round leather pads on your finger instead of a thimble. This works so nice for travel too, because you don't have this big bulky, metal thing or leather thing on your finger. It's just a small pad, and it just helps you push that needle in the rest of the way. Definitely recommend that. Another bonus, friends. When I'm sewing, and I'm sure probably for you, hand sewing, and you put that needle through with the thread on it, I lift up like this, and my pinky gets raw right here from that thread. It's like, it hurts. It starts to hurt for real. So I just take and put a Band-Aid right there, or some tape, whatever you have, and just to coat that area so that way it doesn't rub and burn right there. That's a huge tip, friends. So my new board that I made, you saw in the video, I just want to share with you here in this little video, probably over here on this side, that All I did was take those elastics that we used to use on the mask. Remember we made all the mask tutorials? Yeah, oh my goodness, it's like PTSD for me. But anyways, I grabbed that little round elastic. It's so tiny and it had a little toggle on the end, and I caught it within the pocket, and then I just cut off the other end of the toggle and made it come out of the pocket and just hand tacked it down wherever I thought on my board it would be good to have it. So first, before I tacked it, I did put the thread on there. Now, if I ever want to change out the thread, of course, I will have to unpick that, put a new thing of thread, and just tack it back down. But friends, we sew. We can do that. No worries. Also, what's different about this board is I put a slanted pocket on it, and I used a like pocket pillow type technique when I sewed it together. So it was almost like I pretended like the board was a pillow and just sewed the lip over it so that when I went to put it in there, it was nice and snug and had a little cover almost. Now I did use a board from the Dollar General, and here's a shot of it. It was just one of those little baskets, and I think it was like $4. I don't know how much it was, but it couldn't have been more than that because I wouldn't have paid more than that, I don't think. Just a little plastic basket, and it comes with these lids, these nice wood lids. It was much thinner than the board I was using prior, and it had a smaller footprint, so that way when I go on all my trips, like to QuiltCon and all that coming up here in a few weeks, I will have that nice little board that I can pull out of my luggage, my carry-on, and just work on my pieces. Which brings me into my next bonus tip. Whenever you have to go in the car, now only if you're not the driver, of course, and you're going to just work on your piecing as you drive wherever you go. It takes 30 minutes for me to get to church on Sunday mornings and back again. Well, my husband drives both ways, so I just sit in the passenger seat and just sew until my heart's content. And then, you know, I just let him talk because, you know, men like to talk and they like to be heard without interruption. So yeah, it just works for a really good marriage moment. I'm sewing and listening, I think, for the most part, and he's talking. Win-win. I tried these needles for the first time. They are Bowen, I believe the brand is. I'll put a screenshot here. They're not expensive at all, but you get a ton of them, and they're easy to thread. They're shorter. They're not as long as like a Milner's needle, although there may be a few in there that are as long as that, but it comes in like a variety pack, and that's what I got. And I started using the smaller ones. I enjoy the smaller ones better because it's less that has to go through the fabric as you're sewing. So I don't know if that makes sense to some of you, but if you already have a needle that you use it, and if it works, use it, yeah. Light source. This one, friends, is so huge, and I don't think a lot of us really think about it. Now, you all know in my previous videos, I've totally used this Cricut light, right? Here it is. And it gets really strong, and you can dim it down a little bit. It goes from warm to cold lighting. Works beautiful if I'm only sitting in that one spot all the time when I do my hand sewing. Friends, I found a little light source that works so well with my hand sewing, and I think it's going to work well when I'm on the plane or wherever. Or say I just want to go to a different part of the house and I don't want to lug my big Cricut light, although I would lug it. But if I don't have to, this little light source that I found, it's a little clip and it goes right on the end of my board. And it's so flexible, friends, that you can literally bend and twist this little light anywhere you want on your board, so that way you're not missing a beat and you can see everything. Now, I have tried the neck ones, and I think I've showed that on my channel before. It's like just goes around, and 2 lights right here, and you can change higher density, lower, or whatever. Well, I didn't really like it because it was on my neck. I don't want things on me. I don't know if you're like that. Let me know in the comments. I don't want it. I don't want it. So yeah, if I can't find the exact light source with the clip in Amazon, I will find something similar to link below. Okay, so yes, I'm over this quilt. Tell me, have you been there too when you're doing a project and it's just taking forever? But friends, I'm over it, to say the least. So, or let me show you a video here of what I have left to do on this quilt. I really wanted to make this video a finale video, but I just couldn't, friends. I just couldn't get it done. Nope, couldn't do it. But the next slow sew video that I do on this rectangle quilt, it will be the finale. Trust it. When all is said and done, friends, I have 33 rectangles yet to make. I thought I was so close to being done. 33. So pray for me, y'all. I just want to get it done and finished and washed and ready to go. I was just looking at my notes. I almost forgot about this bonus. Yep, one more bonus tip, friends. When I started putting the ends on the bottom here and on that side, I started to connect them without them being embroidered because I just wanted to be done with this so bad. And I thought, well, I'll just connect them and then embroider them after. So I just wanted to let you know as a bonus tip that you can totally do that. Just connect them and then embroider the heck out of them as you're just sitting there when they're all connected. Yeah. That one's not embroidered. That one's not. 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 Oh my goodness, I got so many to do. That corner piece isn't. And then all the ones that you see here that I posted here in the video next to me that I threw on the ground, I don't think any of those are embroidered, only maybe a few. So yeah, no full picture yet of the back yet because, you know, I gotta have something for a finale on this quilt, right? Well, okay. There is definitely that everyone has used to come along with this sew along with me, which bonus tip number 1. I'm not going to count these though because yeah, it's too hard for me to keep track. Click it so that you can find and print your own 3D bonus. But now the bougie, here's the pop-up. One of my hand sewing tips, staying along that same thread when it comes to thread. And then I just, first though, before I did change this board. Also, it's different, a sort of, I don't know how much it was, but it couldn't have been more than that because I wouldn't have paid more than that, I don't think. I wouldn't have paid more than $6 for it probably. Which brings me into my next bonus tip. Grab that little to-go board wherever, or say I just want to go to a different part of the room and I don't want to lug my big Cricut light, although I would. It's like just goes around and it's got 2 lights here and you can whatever gauge them and they can, I think maybe Walmart. I'm not even sure. I mean, I think I started this. Is this over 2 years? No, it can't be. It can't be. Is it? Huh. No, I don't think it's quite 2 years. Maybe a year and a half? I don't know. I really don't know. When where's it at? Where's it at? That gum for a minute. I'll put it over here. Practice a couple times and I'll edit. So you're gonna say, "Hi friends." Ready?
Okay. Hi friends. Welcome to the sewing channel.
This is my heart right here. Ready? Let's try it again. Do it with some energy.
Okay.
Like, do it with like hyperness. Hi friends, Josie here from the sewing channel. Ready?
Yeah. Hi friends, Josie from the sewing channel.
And Mimi too.
You got yours, Pico?
Yeah, I got mine on too. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Done. Let me think. That's your favorite?
Yes.
You've never slept with that quilt.
Yes, I have.
You have you?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay, maybe.
I think last night I did, and sometimes I sleep with it.
Look right there at the camera and say, enough talking already.
Enough talking already.
Mimi will edit it. And
Can I see the video?
Until next time on the Sewing Channel, take care.